All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the July 23rd, 2026 special meeting of the Board of Directors of the Agribusiness Development Corporation. I am the chair, Jason Watts. Prior to calling the meeting to order, Alston Plus will explain how the public can participate in this hybrid meeting, which can be accessed by video conference, telephone, or in person.
For all of you joining us online, your microphone will automatically be muted. When the chairperson asks for public testimony, you may click the raise hand button found on your Zoom screen to indicate that you wish to testify about that agenda item. The chairperson will individually enable each testifier to unmute their microphone. When recognized by the chairperson, please unmute your microphone before speaking and mute your microphone after you finish speaking. For those of you joining by phone, when the chairperson asks for public testimony, we indicate you want to testify by entering star and then 9. A voice prompt will let you know that the host of the meeting has been notified. When recognized by the chairperson, you may unmute yourself by pressing star and then 6 on your phone. A voice prompt will let you know that you are unmuted. Once you're finished speaking, press star and then 6 again to mute yourself. For both internet and phone, as well as in-person access, when testifying, you will be asked to identify yourself and organization, if any, that you represent. Each testifier will be limited to 2 minutes of testimony per agenda item.
All right, thank you, Alston. Testifiers are requested that there is a 2-minute limit of testimony per agenda item. This meeting is now called to order at 9:03 a.m. I will take a roll call of the board members who are present. When your name is called, please verbally acknowledge your presence and state who, if anyone, is over the age of 18, is present in the room with you. This also serves as a roll call vote. For each subsequent vote, I will ask if there are any objections or abstentions. If there are none, then the motion will be approved on the same basis as this initial roll call. Board Member Jesse Cook.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Board Member Dave Hinazumi.
Present and alone.
Board Member Chair Sharon Hurd.
Present and alone. I do want to make a comment that while I'm showing on the screen as Sharon Hurd, that's actually a Deputy Director, Dean Matsukawa, I believe. Thank you.
Board Member Deputy Director Kira Kahane.
Good morning, present and alone.
Thank you. Board Member Dino Kimoto.
Present.
Oh, I see.
Vice Chair Jason Okohama.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Board Member Karen Seddon is excused. Board Member Nathan Trump.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Board Member Joshua O'Hara.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Board Member Jason Watts is present. Deputy Director Dane Wicker.
Present alone.
Thank you. All right. We have a full house. Members are reminded to have their cameras turned on and remain on screen during the meeting, especially during any voting, so the record will clearly reflect who was present at the time the vote was taken. Section B, meeting minutes, there are none. For Section C, Chair's report, really simple. Just want to welcome members. I don't know if you noticed we have a new member, Joshua O'Hara. He was appointed by the governor to replace outgoing member Glenn Hong. This is his first board meeting. And to give you a little background, Josh was most recently the Senior Vice President and General Manager of Hartung Brothers on Kauai. And if you're not familiar with Hartung in Wisconsin, the Vlasic Pickle, that's them. And then, of course, he's also the president of the Kekaha Ag Association. So noting that as, I think the governor's office and what we work on here and the importance of the Kekaha Ag, the KAA to ADC. So welcome, Josh. You want to say anything?
Oh, thank you, Chair. I'll just keep it brief. I've actually been involved with ADC as far back as 2006. And so it's really nice to be able to join the board at this point. And hopefully I can, with the guidance of my fellow members and the staff, help ADC with the next 20 years.
You want to be on the board for 20 years?
No. But I think, I just see, a lot of the issues we're tackling today with infrastructure and things as what sets up the agency and the state really for agriculture going forward for a similar period. So.
No, I appreciate that. We're going to need your help. Thank you. All right, moving on to Section D, Agenda Item D1. It's a presentation of a report from the Permitted Interaction Group, Hawaii State Department of Education Local Food Procurement Initiative. The report will summarize the PEG's evaluation of institutional purchasing requirements, farmer readiness to participate in institutional procurement markets, barriers and opportunities affecting participation by Hawaii ag producers, and strategies to expand the local institutional food supply chain, including coordination with the DOE regarding procurement expectations and implementation, and recommendations for potential policy, programmatic, or operational actions for the ADC that the ADC may consider to strengthen Hawaii's institutional food pipeline and support increased procurement of locally grown ag products for public schools. Jesse Cook.
Yeah,
Chair?
thanks, Chair Watts. I just want to say thanks to Jason and Glenn for the time they put into this. We probably interviewed maybe a dozen folks. All the interviews were done in January and February. We interviewed staff from DOE, from ADC, farmers. We interviewed Dean Okimoto as well as a farmer, food hubs. So we got a pretty good spectrum of folks to give input on how DOE can improve, ADC can improve, and farmers can help out. I've been told that we can't really do a presentation today and there's not going to be any questions. So I think the presentation will have to wait until the next meeting where we would vote to accept this report. So that's all I can really say. I don't think we can even have questions right now either.
I believe that's correct. All right. You're correct, Chair Cook. So what we'll do is the next meeting we'll accept the document and then you can do your more in-depth presentation.
Okay.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to give testimony?
I'm not sure.
Is there any board discussion? All right. Doesn't require action, so this will be on the next month's agenda for adoption. All right. Moving on to agenda item E1. It's a request for approval to execute a First Amendment to the Memorandum of Agreement between the Agribusiness Development Corporation and the Hawaii Community Development Authority to provide project management for the development of the Central Oahu Ag and Food Hub, District of Wahiawa, City and County of Honolulu, State of Hawaii, and various tax map keys. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Board Member Okimoto. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Chair Hurd. Is there a staff presentation?
Yes.
Ken?
Hey, good morning, board members and members of the public. Ken Nakamoto, project manager with ADC. So this MOA was approved by the board back, I want to say, in January. And we told the board at the time that as the tasks and assignments will roll out, we would come back to the board for an amendment to the MOU. So we received some funding this year from the legislature, particularly for FPIN, which stands for Food Product Innovation Network, as well as the EPMF, or Entrepreneur Product Manufacturing Facility. Just want to distinguish the two. The FPIN is the overall arching network, and that's a statewide network. So it goes from Maui, Kauai, Big Island, and Oahu. EPMF is the facility itself within the FPIN. So there's two separate things. What this task would do is HCDA, whose expertise is master plan development as well as other types of development, they're going to help us with construction management and the development of EPMF. In addition, the FPIN side also includes the statewide effort as well as the north side of the Whitmore, where I don't know if you guys are familiar, where we had the farm fair recently. So it also includes the EPMF is where the regional kitchen is. And so that's the Central Oahu Food Hub, as well as the North Parcel. So just wanted to kind of distinguish what they're going to be doing for us. So we'll still be managing the funds, but HCDA will assist in project management as well as some of the procurement for some of these funding and development. I'm available for any questions. Also present is Executive Director Craig Nakamoto from HCDA and the CFO from HCDA, Garrett Sasaki, and we're available for any questions.
Thank you, Ken. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to give testimony?
No hands raised, Chair.
Is there any board discussion?
Are you gonna discuss as members of the public? Were you gonna say a few things? Craig?
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board, Craig Nakamoto, I'm the Executive Director of Hawaii Community Development Authority. Garrett Sasaki, our CFO. I'm just gonna I'm not gonna repeat what Ken said because I think his summary of this is accurate. One of the first things we need to do with these funds and as in our role as the overall project manager, owner's rep for this Whitmore North and South is to continue with the master planning for the food hub and for Whitmore North. Do some land use matters and also subdivision to the extent it's necessary. So that's how I think we would expend this first tranche of money for the project. And we already have someone on the staff assigned to work on this. And we're thankful for the opportunity of ADC to help on this. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to give testimony? Is there any further board discussion?
Yeah, I have one question.
Oh.
You know, in development of this area and stuff, are you guys are gonna plan like for, you know, like where they have the farm for that area over there? Is there plans in that to develop it into a more permanent venue for other things besides the farm fair? Because the farm fair is only 1 week in a year, right? But I think in going to the farm fair, it could use some help in fixing it up a little bit, bathrooms and stuff like that. Is there plans for that?
So thank you, Member Okimoto. I've heard feedback that there's a need for restroom facilities on that parcel for the farm fair and other events. I did go to the farm fair and definitely need restroom and other facilities there. So definitely I've heard that feedback. So I think that's going to be programmed into the planning. I've also heard feedback, just like you have, that you know, the farm fair is just once a year. It's a good event, but there needs to be more activation and other things. I think the activation, how it's used at the rest of the times of the year, I think is really something that, you know, ADC working, you know, with other community members is really the appropriate people to work on the operations part. I think our job is to do the planning and then stand up that food hub, especially all the, you know, vertical developments, make sure it gets done right, the road infrastructure that's going in there, and then to subdivide that Whitmore North parcel partially for the fairgrounds, hopefully permanent fairgrounds, and then the other side for other uses. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Chair, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Executive Director, how do you see the board participating in this process?
I think the board, this board, should receive periodic updates from us as the planners. We're acting as the owner's representative. The owner is Agribusiness Development Corporation. So I would think the board expect to hear periodic updates from us as we go along. And that's what I would propose at any interval that chair, vice chair, and board wants. Happy to do that.
Any further board discussion? Chair Hurd?
So the action item that we're voting on is to establish an amendment to permit the project management.
So the member Hurd So the original amendment, I guess, Ken Nakamoto pointed out, established us as the owner's representative and as the management, the rep for Agribusiness Development Corporation with the duties to stand up and plan the Whitmore North itself. When the board approved that in January, there was, we didn't know what the funding that was going to be available for this project. Now that the legislative session is over, we know what funding it is, what is available, and it's about $7 million in B funds, which is, I think is the green fee funds, and about $6 million in CIP. So now that we know that, we want to incorporate that into the MOA through the amendment number 1.
And so we're voting on providing project management.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think what you're voting on is to approve the amendment 1 to the MOA that the board approved in January.
And the amendment would be to select project management.
Add funds. So in January, this board approved the signing execution of the MOA that provided project management. But what was missing at that time, since it was January of this year, was the funds that were anticipated to be received from the legislature. Now that the session is over, this MOA amendment number 1, which the board is voting on today, adds that funding to the MOA.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to recommend that their submittal be more clear for future meetings as to exactly what we're voting on, because there's no mention in the submittal about funding.
So Craig, you folks came to us, I think, in Wahiawa over a year ago. I think that was the original initial discussion. And then this is kind of a carry on from all that, right? What exactly is the project management going to cover? And what exactly does the project look like? You folks already know, like, what you're going to do with these areas, or?
So for the Whitmore, so for the food hub, it's going to be there's some conceptual drawings that were done, layout for the food hub. And so we're going to further plan for that. And then also this DAGS is putting in a road, so we're going to oversee the implementation of that. DOE is putting in building a centralized kitchen, so we're going to oversee that. And then maybe one of the most important things is we're in the middle of procurement, but we're in the middle of the work for the HPP, the hyperbaric facility, HPP facility. So we want to oversee and make sure that that proceeds timely and gets done. And just oversee the general, standing up of that.
So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I think to Chair Hurd's questions, so this board created a PIG at the last board meeting to evaluate the farm fair site and then to make recommendations to the legislature and the governor on potential improvements that could help turn the site into a more productive use for the Farm Bureau and other, what do you call that, adjacent issues. So I think if you wouldn't mind, at Chair Hurd's next meeting, she's the chair of the PIG. Maybe you guys can come back and present to us again a little bit more, so the PIG gets a better idea as to where they should focus, maybe, or what everything looks like, so we're not duplicating or working against each other, I guess.
Chair Watts, happy to do that, and Member Hurd, happy to do that too. I think I wasn't aware that there was a PIG established to do that, so I think what the PIG is doing is with respect to that parcel, and input that they have will be helpful to us in the next stage. So happy to participate in that.
Thank you.
At your call.
And I think that's where Board Member Kimoto's comments, that kind of stuff would be in there too, like facilities and.
Sure, happy to do.
Okay, cool.
As part of the process.
Appreciate it.
Chair, you have 7.
Yes, sorry, Deputy Director Kahane.
Thank you, Chair. Um, quick question about the document that we are approving. First, so has this been reviewed by our counsel at the Department of the Attorney General?
Well, before we do that, sorry, I want to introduce Josh, but members, Mark Koyetsu, who's our new full-time ADC Deputy AG, is here in person, so.
Deputy Director, I have to get back to you. Unfortunately, Kelsey is on personal leave right now, so when she gets back next week, I can check if she's reviewed this amendment. But since it was, I believe, I have not seen it yet personally, but she may have. I can check with her.
Thank you. Yeah, I went and looked back at the board packet from January 2026. In future submittals, I would appreciate a copy of the actual executed memorandum of agreement, and if not, then the submittal that approved the initial draft. But I did go back and compare it to the version that I can find from January 2026, and it just wasn't clear to me, first of all, the amendment that is attached to this month's submittal at page stamp 018 has a budget and payment schedule amending section 3 of the MOA. The one that we saw in January, section 3 is entitled something different. The budget and payment schedule isn't numbered. So I just wanted to make sure that that's cleared up before we actually approve this, and that I understand where this language is slotting in, because it appears to be modifying the entire section. And if that's the intent, then I would just like that to be clearer.
Deputy Director, we will.
Craig, so to that point, sorry, the board member Cook.
I think you got Josh and David.
Board Member Uehara and Board Member Hinazomi.
Yeah, Josh too, right?
Yes.
Oh, board member Hinazumi.
Okay, thanks, Chair. And this is a question for Ken. Thanks for working on this. And just as we progress with with this phase, so to speak, the appropriation is broken up into two separate buckets. Agreement just kind of lumps the totals all together. Is there any need for us to focus on one of the buckets or the other? One for FPIN, one for processing?
Well, the 6 million is specifically for the plans and designs of EPMF, the Entrepreneur Product Manufacturing Facility. So that is a standard, straightforward architecture, civil type work. The other 7 million for FPIN, it's kind of a more broader appropriation. So it includes also, as Craig mentioned, the fairgrounds, the north, as well as the overall development besides the EPMF. We have pointed out HPP, you have regional kitchen, you have a pedestrian bridge, you have bags infrastructure. So what that funding is going to kind of oversee a lot of that, as well as the planning and design.
Okay, thanks, Ken. So this 2 million would come out of the 7 for the FPIN, or is it just making sure we're tracking the money as we use it and how much will be left in the buckets after we get through this initial phase.
I don't know which one it'll come out of yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
no sweat.
We'll track on what gets, JV to what gets JV and where from, basically, and what's going to be left for the project. We'll have that breakdown.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Yeah, as long as you're able to track it, and then I take it you have a scope with the timing for this initial phase as far as yeah, deadlines for all of this so we can track that as well?
Sure. Yeah, each project, we don't have a overall schedule for the overall deal, but each project has their schedules. They're all
Okay.
different timing. Some are, obviously, like the kitchen is pressing right now.
Got it.
Others are, that's why we have great guys to kind of help us stay on track and keep things moving.
Okay. And then last, you know, this kind of goes into what we've been discussing in terms of the budget. So the 13 million sitting right now, it's in ADC's account?
It's been appropriated by the ledge, so we still need to get the BNF and gov approval, and then it'll be released case.
Okay, so one thing from our budgeting and financial operations side is as that money comes into our you know, our account, we just need to manage our money better. You know, it shouldn't just, you know, we should try to make sure it's sitting in some kind of account earning interest, things like that. Make sure that interest can come to ADC. Because that's, you know, that's a big pot, 13 million. So that's just something, you know, Ken, as you know, as you work on this, you know, and you know, Mark's been doing the work on the budget and the financial side, just making sure we're you know, always staying aware of those kinds of things. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Ken.
Board Member Uehara.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I guess couple of things following on what David was just asking about. I guess my question for staff would be, does it make sense to execute the MOA now before funds have been released? Because the MOA itself says that the funds will be expended at the direction of HCDA, but they haven't necessarily been released to ADC yet for expenditure.
I don't believe it will, I mean, if the government decides they not release the funds or for whatever reason, we could always, you know, cancel the amendment. I don't know how that would work, but I don't think it's contingent upon. I mean, it is contingent upon governor releasing the funds in order to proceed with what Craig Guy just presented. But I don't know, it's a good question. I don't know if we should. I think we could execute and then contingent upon the release of funding. If that's okay.
Sure.
The process, as I understand it, is the budget has been approved. And so the funds are there, but the process then continues to request to expend and staff by contract. So it's a two-step process, and that does have to go through BNF. For anything, I think budget execution policies this year was over 200,000, and this is definitely over 200,000. So we still have a long road to hoe, as they say, with approvals down the road. I don't know when the appropriate time is to entertain an amendment to an existing MOU, but whatever time it is, it's not a done deal. You go through a number of hoops after that. It's a thinking chair.
Thank you, Chair Hurd. Craig, I guess the question is, so we have another board meeting in 3 weeks. Is that gonna take you off your timeline at all? Like, disagree. I think too, some of the board members' concerns, I don't think we're looking at a complete packet here. And then secondly, council is not able to tell us if they've already signed off on this or reviewed this, so.
Yeah, you know, Chair Watts, I think, you know, we were, you know, waiting for this board meeting. It got canceled once, so this is the second one, the rescheduled one. I think it would help if the board, respectfully, the board at least approve this subject to Attorney General's review, because I think that would mean that we can keep going on the process. I mean, we've started the procurement process to engage in the next step of this is, with the planning firm. And frankly, I think before we can proceed any further with that, I'd like to get the
Sure.
ADC board's approval. So
Sure.
if there's some contingent things that need to be worked out with the Deputy Attorney General, maybe the approval can be contingent to getting Deputy Attorney General approval as to form on the MOA.
Sure, understood. Deputy Director Kahane, would that be okay regarding your request?
Yeah, given that this is a government to government agreement, right? First of all, it's not like we're too worried. Also, yes, with review and approval by council, I'm sure that they'll work out some of the inconsistencies or, the issues that I mentioned. My concern is more just making sure that these agreements are reviewed by council before they're brought to the board. So thank you.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
One more question, Jason.
Sure.
Sorry, very rookie question, Ken. What is the method of financing C?
General obligation bonds, GO bonds.
Chill bonds, okay.
Wendy?
I just wanted to add that of the 13 million, 7,073,000 is green fee money, and the green fee money does expire within 1 year. So by when this agreement is executed, that allows us to encumber those funds. However, to Chair Hurd's point, we are far from the finish line. There are many layers of approval. So it's not automatically deposited into our checking account.
No, thank you. But I think to the point of the board members though, so, going forward, members, this is something that we've talked about quite a bit about board packets. And, we just need to have, the historical, right? So if you're asking us to amend something, whether it's, stricken and whatever, you got to show us what's being requested of us, and just the basic, making sure the Deputy Director Kahane's concerns, the language is the same, right? So, so please just address that. I'm going to be amending the motion. The motion will be to approve, contingent upon the Deputy Attorney General sign off. Is there a motion to approve?
Well, I think,
Sorry.
Dean, didn't you do the original motion?
Oh, yes. Take yours back.
Awesome.
You approved it as amended?
Yeah, okay, I approve this as amended.
Putting words in your mouth.
No,
A second.
Thank you, Board Member Okimoto. Thank you, Chair Hurd. Is anyone from the public wishing to give testimony? Is there any further board discussion? Josh Uehara?
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, just to follow up on that, if the understanding with the Attorney General's review would be, I think, the addition of appropriate language about the funds availability being subject to, necessary approvals. I think that would be helpful just for me to feel better about that. Also, the other question I had originally was just whether the scope of the sort of project management master planning exercise included proposal of a management and operations framework for the facility itself, because this is going to be a relatively complicated facility to manage going forward once it's actually built. And it would be good to know a lot of the way a common infrastructure is designed sort of entails certain management responsibilities going forward as well. So I was just curious if that was included in the scope. It wasn't too clear to me looking at the original agreement.
We'll incorporate that. It's broadly covered by the responsibilities.
Okay.
So we'll note that.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Josh.
No, that was it. Thank you.
Okay. So contingent upon all those things, you're still good.
Still good,
Yeah.
because aren't you gonna add the contingency that upon governor releasing funds?
Okay. All right, so we're gonna amend the request for approval to execute upon contingency that the deputy AG signs off, appropriate approval from the governor received, and regarding board member Uehara's concerns, funds availability and scope. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, board member Okimoto. Is there a second?
Second,
Thank you, Chair Hurd. Is there any further staff presentation?
There is none.
Seeing none. Is there anyone from the public wishing to give testimony? Seeing none. Is there any further board discussion? Seeing none. Are there any objections, recusals, or abstentions?
I'm gonna move with restrictions,
Reservations?
reservations.
Okay. All others in favor? Measures adopted. All right. Our second action item E2 is a request to hold the election of officers for the board of directors for the positions of chairperson, vice chairperson, secretary, and treasurer for a one-year term commencing on July 24, 2026, and expiring following a duly noticed board meeting in July 2027. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, board member Okimoto. Is there a second?
Second, Jesse Cook.
Thank you, Jesse. All right, board members, there's no staff presentation, but just to give you guys an overview, so there's 4 positions available, the chair and the vice chair, a secretary and a treasurer. The chair and the vice chair are non-ex officio members, but the secretary and treasurer can be ex officio members. So just to keep that in mind. Wait, so Mark, we got to vote to go into this, or?
No, I wasn't, I think you vote to move forward on it. But then there's a vote for each individual, office.
Okay, so members, the first vote we're going to be taking is a request to hold the election. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to give testimony?
That's raised, Chair.
There seeing none. Is there any board discussion? Seeing none. Is there any objections, recusals, or abstentions? Seeing none, the measure is adopted. So the request to hold election of officers will proceed. Regarding the vacancy number 1, the chairperson shall preside at all meetings of the corporation. At the meetings, the chairperson shall submit any information and recommendations the chairperson may deem proper concerning the policies and other affairs of the corporation. The chairperson is empowered to execute any and all documents to which the corporation is a party, including but not limited to contracts and deeds. Are there any nominations for the office of chairperson?
Nominate Jason Watts.
Second,
Thank you, board member Okimoto. Thank you, Chair Hurd. Is there any other nominations? Is there anyone from the public who wishes to give testimony?
Sure.
Is there any board discussion? Seeing none. Are there any objections, recusals, or abstentions? The measure is adopted. Thank you, board members. Moving on to the vice chairperson. In the absence of the disability of the chairperson, the vice chairperson shall perform the duties of the chairperson and such other duties as may be assigned by the board of directors. Are there any nominations for the office of vice chair?
I nominate Jason Oklahoma.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, thank you, Chair Hurd. Thank you, Deputy Director Kahane. Is there any other nominations? Is there anyone from the public who wishes to give testimony?
That's raised, Chair.
Seeing none, is there any board discussion? All right. Are there any objections, recusals, or abstentions? The measure is adopted. Moving on to section item 3, the secretary. The secretary shall be responsible for the accuracy of the meeting minutes of the board of directors, the maintenance of a centralized filing system, and the certification of documents as required by law. And I apologize, I'm losing my voice. So are there any nominations for the office of secretary?
I nominate Sarah Kahane.
I
Am
would
I-
second that.
Am I eligible?
Yeah, so the chair and vice chair are non-ex officio, but the secretary and treasurer can be.
Okay.
That's all I'm willing to do, yes?
I feel like I'm getting voluntold here a little bit.
Thank you, Deputy Director. We have a nomination, we have a nominated by Dino Kimoto, seconded by Chair Hurd. Is there any other nominations? Seeing none, is there anyone from the public who wishes to give testimony?
Minutes for this chair.
Thank you, Austin. Is there any board discussion? Seeing none, are there any objections, recusals, or abstentions? Seeing none, the measure is adopted. Secretary is Deputy Director Kahane. Moving on to item 4, the treasurer. The treasurer shall be responsible for high-level oversight of the annual budget, coordination with external auditors to ensure auditable financial records, and to provide the board of directors with regular fiscal reports. Are there any nominations for the office of treasurer?
Chair, I'd like to nominate Jesse Cook. I'm not sure he's aware of the nomination.
Board Member Cook?
Sure. Thanks, Sharon.
Okay. You're welcome.
All right, I was nominated by Chair Hurd. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Board Member Uehara. Are there any other nominations? Anyone from the public wishing to give testimony?
That's right.
Is there any board discussion? All right, are there any objections, recusals, or abstentions? Seeing none, the measure is adopted. Treasurer is Jesse Cook. All right. Moving on to informational items, we don't have a report on this, so we're going to defer item F1, but the staff is instructed to please put together a report and make sure the board gets something in writing as soon as possible. And moving on to item E4, presentation by Dr. Parwindo Grewal, Dean and Director of the University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resilience, to provide an informational briefing regarding a university-sponsored biolab project proposal. Dean?
Mahalo, Chair Watts and the members of the board. I really appreciate the opportunity to make a presentation here today related to our new center on biosecurity, research, extension, and education. This center is to focus on building sustainable solutions to invasive species. And these invasive species, as you know, create such a big havoc on our agriculture. They impact our urban landscapes and also natural resources, impact our watersheds. I do have a brief presentation that I would like to share. It's limited.
So I think it's okay.
Oh, okay.
You're not supposed to get
Members, we're going to take a quick recess while they get this thing going on the internet here. Is 5 minutes okay?
5 minutes is good.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Are we in recess?
We got our members back. Members. If you could just, for the record, your name and title.
Let's start again. I'm Parvinder Grewal, Dean of the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resilience. And I really appreciate the board for giving us the opportunity to make a brief presentation on our new Center on Biosecurity Research, Extension, and Education. As you know, invasive species create such a big problem for Hawaii's agriculture and food security, and also impact on urban landscapes. And this center is to focus on developing sustainable methods of control for these invasive species. Specifically, biological control is the most sustainable method and can also be quite cost-effective method of control for these invasive species. Just recently, we have been given an opportunity to submit a grant proposal to USDA, NIFA. It's a new program in which we can get up to $30 million to build the biosecurity facility in Hawaii. Why do we need a biosecurity facility? In order to evaluate biocontrol agents for their efficacy against the invasive species and also for their safety to non-target organisms. One needs a highly secure biosecurity facility. And this opportunity that we have is only available to land-grant colleges throughout the nation. And it is a highly competitive opportunity, and it requires one-to-one match for every dollar that we will request from USDA. Fortunately, Hawaii State Legislature given us $3.7 million this past year to plan and design this facility. Leeward Community College is a partner along with CTAR in this particular project. If you can move to the next slide, please. So this facility will contain laboratories at two different PPQ levels. PPQ is plant protection and quarantine, which just refers to that. And level 2 is a lab that can handle predatory insects, parasites or parasitoids of insects, where you can evaluate those kinds of organisms as biocontrol agents. But level 3 is generally required or always required for handling pathogens. If you want to evaluate a virus or bacteria or a fungal pathogen of insects or plants, you need this level of biosecurity. And the facility that we are proposing would be containing both level 2 labs and level 3 labs, and also associated greenhouses with same level of security. And that is what our proposal is, and there will be offices associated with it so that our faculty and staff can actually physically move into this facility so that we can rapidly start developing biocontrols for invasive species. We cannot wait for this. Hawaii has been waiting for such a facility for a long time. And this unique opportunity that we have is just tremendous, that we could get half of the money from outside Hawaii. With that, I will move to my next slide. So last year, so ever since I have taken this position, I made invasive species as one of my top priorities to focus on. So we are working with our faculty to focus on Hawaii-centric research, and some of our faculty have been at the leading edge of this. Our faculty have already identified a virus that can that has tremendous potential for the control of CRP. But now we need to move to the next level to evaluate its safety to non-target organisms. So we hired a external company that specializes in building such high biocontainment facilities. And they have built such facilities in Canada, in multiple places at USDA, in US, including several universities and even for NIH, that's National Institute of Health. So this group worked with us and evaluated multiple sites, many of them at the university itself. But then they decided, basically they are proposing that the best site for this kind of biosecurity facility would be little bit away from the houses or from the community, but it has to be where we need our work, where there is greater impact of this work from the farmers. So they proposed that if ADC would be willing to consider the request for lease for a lot on which this kind of facility could be built. The reason, there are multiple reasons for that. One is that this facility requires an extra fence around it for, to prevent vandalism and have additional level of security. We would also need our canine complex. That means we use our dogs to identify or pick up invasive species from difficult locations. So we have that program that we also like to house along with this. And so that's where we are today. We're not requesting that you consider our needs today. This is just information because this is up to you to decide whether you want to move in that direction. We would need a parcel of about 3 acres. We also need a right of entry prior to that, so that further evaluation by our consultants for the site can occur, so that they can then decide whether this is the best place and also what specific parcel in that larger lot would be suitable for this. The facility would need utilities, water, sewer, electricity, and I was happy to note that there are plans and considerations for their site to have some utilities, as we talked about restrooms and such. So I'm kind of a little excited about that piece, because if we put this facility a little further away, then the utilities would be a major expense. But if there are larger plans for that, then this facility would be integrated into this larger plan. And I also want to highlight that CTAR has a motto for collaborative innovation. This is in our new vision. And we are happy to collaborate with any agency who would like to use this facility for the work that they do. We have talked to PBARC, which is our USDA facility, and they are also expanding their biosecurity capacity, but only at level 2. And I believe that HDAB would also like to develop a facility like this. And I believe their focus is currently also on level 2. But if they go for level 3, that's okay as well, because these things are highly costly, and we are willing to, be collaborative on that. And but urgency is the name of it. It is hugely urgent that we move forward as quickly as possible. Now, why did we come so late to the board? but with this request. If this grant opportunity does not appear all of a sudden, we would still be talking with maybe individual board members or whenever there is an opportunity for us to present. Because only last month, our consultants actually came in and visited the land. And that's where they kind of decided that that may be the best location. That is one. And the second, the grant opportunity is only available for 1 month. They only give us 4 weeks to submit the proposal. So that's why we came in as quickly as possible to make a request to you to hear us out and see if you can provide a right of entry and then consider a lease if this is the final place the facility would be built. And I answer any question that you might have. And once again, I want to also say that we appreciate all that ADC does for farmers to expand agriculture, and that jives so well with the mission of CETA. So we are in complete collaboration with you all. The example, the Wahiba Food Innovation Center, that UH has already worked with ADC to build that, and you see how effective that is and how many new entrepreneurs are taking advantage of that particular facility. So this facility can also help farmers and all our institutions move this biocontrol forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Is there any staff presentation? None. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to give testimony? Any board discussion?
Yes, I want to come.
Board Member Okimoto.
This is long overdue. I mean, I will tell you that when I was president of Farm Bureau, in Carol, Okada, and Sharon were around at that time, when Cookie Frog first came in, and we went to the ledge for $50,000 to eliminate Cookie Frog. They denied it. By the next year, they had to go in for $500,000, and $500,000 was not enough. And in today's world, we have Cookie Frog on the Big Island that's pervasive. Same thing. I mean, you know, bless the legislators and guys like that, but they do not understand the importance of these invasive species coming in and the effect on the economy overall. I mean, not only to agriculture, but to the communities. I mean, probably billions of dollars have been lost due to CRB and all of these invasives that we've had. And when Danny Noy was alive, we tried to do something like this, and we could, and unfortunately he passed before we could do anything. So I cannot tell you how glad I am that something is finally being done on this problem, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Okimoto. Any further board discussion? Oh, Chair Hurd.
Yeah, I agree with Member Okimoto, but also that the Department of Agriculture Biosecurity has been on this for quite some time as well. And it's not for the reasons that you mentioned. It's for biocontrol agents that we already know are out there. Our Mohsen, our Dr. Ramadan, he has been scouring the world for biocontrol agents for hollow scale and fireweed and all the different nuisance things that we already have here. And he's been successful. He's found the biocontrol agents. The problem was we didn't have the biocontrol facility with the proper regulations and permits to control it properly, as they are airborne. Some of these, are airborne. So I also say that there is good reason for it. And the department is also pursuing a biocontrol facility for years. And it is, funding is a problem. Funding is a problem. So yeah, we do need that, but our need is for biocontrol agents that have already been identified that we need. We're on the permit. In fact, I saw one yesterday. I happened to be in a meeting and it came through that the WASP is now up. The comment period is up now, which has taken us this long to get to this point. So there's a 30-day comment period right now. It's a long process. Starting early is a good idea. Biocontrol is the answer. I think pesticides, we've tried for years and the insects are evolving into a point where maybe biocontrol is where it should be. So yes, Dean, we were there with you in the beginning when you advocated for this. It's a long process. This informational briefing is important. The information that we have is kind of sketchy. You applied for the grant. You don't know if you have the grant. Where's the match coming from? But you have the location, which is, you know, I mean, it's right where the farm fair is now.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good that you can have a right of entry, but I'm not sure what the best process is. What comes first? You know, does everything go like this? The right of entry and the funding, and, you know, at what point do we have magic? And that's the question we have. It's an informational briefing and appreciate it. It's been a mystery. I see Josh has a question, but who are your partners on this?
So, I totally respect your thought on this. There is no mystery on this. As I'm new to this place, I am doing my best to do the best thing for Hawaii. That's the only reason I come here, and I want to make a big difference. With that, here, we have already received 3.7 million from the ledge, right? That is through, you know, the money has been put into your house. That is the start. That means we can at least get 3.7 million from the USDA today if our grant is successful. Second, CDOT has committed $1.2 million of its own money as a match to this grant. I talked to Leeward Community College chancellor. He has verbally told me, email communication is currently going on, 1.1 million Leeward Community College will put. That gives us another 2.3 million between the two of us. Then yesterday, UH System, our Vice President for Research and Innovation, with the consultation with the President of UH, has committed additional $2 million to make this happen. So we are already at $8 million in matching funds. Our request to USDA is $25 million. So the remaining money is what we will be seeking over time. Now we have the opportunity to go back to the legislature. Thank you, Dean, for making the case that we've been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. And now we are ahead in a way that somebody else will give us the dollar for dollar match. So therefore, Hawaii has to put less money now to get this thing done. There are multiple ways, but we will go to the ledge, we will go find other sources, or if there is a donor, we will go after the donor to build this facility. Because we will be all gone before the benefit of this will become available. So we should think for the big picture that if we get it done, our generations will benefit from the work that would be done in this place.
The good thing now is I think at the legislature, a lot of the legislators now realize how important it is to stop these invasives, you know, at the doorstep and have the biocontrols and the facilities to investigate and develop cures and things for the problem we're having with these invasives. So it's a different time, and I think guys are starting. I mean, legislators are aware of now that, you know what, you cannot wait. You gotta stop it as soon as possible. Otherwise, it blows out of proportion and ends up costing millions and millions of dollars to just control. You cannot eliminate. So I cannot tell you how happy I am to hear this news.
Yeah,
Sorry,
So hopefully
Dean,
you can get from the ledge some money.
sorry, for your, Board of Uehara.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Dean, question I had would be, I guess, assuming, you're going to be back very quickly for an approval, if you could, when you come back, explain to us exactly what it is that you need for the grant proposal at this point, right? There's probably some requirement for some level of site identification or control. If you can help us understand exactly what it is that you need to proceed at this point, I think that would be helpful. And as well as you mentioned, we might all be gone before we see the benefit. If you could give us kind of a high level timeline of what you see this development, looking like over the years, what are the major milestones? And also what are the regulatory requirements for approval along the way? And which agreements are contingent on those approvals? I think that would be helpful for us to understand exactly what it is that we need to commit for you to be able to pursue this opportunity.
Thank you, Board Member Uehara. I want to add one more question to that, Dean. Regarding, Board Member Uehara's question about the regulatory requirements, will this facility trigger an EIS? Will it trigger an EIS? Chapter 343?
Yes, it would have all the consultants that we work with. They have done this at multiple states, in multiple states. So all the regulations that will be triggered through this, they all would be addressed throughout this process.
So I guess with that, do you have an idea of the timeline?
Yes, so this grant requires us to complete this project in 4 years with a possibility of just 1 year extension. So this entire project must be completed. In our mind, we are proposing for little less than 4 year timeline. And what do we need exactly for the grant? We would need a letter of support that will state that the board has heard this. You can also acknowledge that you did not have enough time to have an action item. But if you are supportive of this, you can allude to that we have a process that we will first provide the right of entry so that final evaluation would be made. Because until then, a request for lease is not really a thing. But as soon as the right of entry and little evaluation is done and the consultants are happy to go forward, that would happen within 2 months. And then a formal lease that we would request. The grant requires us to be either a landlord of the place where it will be built or a long-term lease. But they have given us that before they release the funding, we should have a lease in hand. Since we already have a working relationship with ADC from the past, like UH and the Wahiba Center, we could use that as a framework to apply for the lease as we move forward. And I also want to answer another question that Chair Hurd had, that it was another part of our question. Who are our partners? Who are our partners? CETAR and Leeward Community College. These are putting in their sweat capital into this, and we will build it, but we can't build this without the help of the legislature. So that's where we have started. Who are our partners beyond that? the way I define our partners is whoever will benefit from this facility. It would be Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity. It would be USDA BBARC, because they also provide funding for us, but if they are working on some project for the benefit of Hawaii farmers, we would open the doors to them to come in and use our lab, whatever project they might need. Beyond that, we don't, and Invasive Species Council and all these other people who are working in this area, they are welcome to use office space or whatever else that we would be able to provide. And those are our partnership. There is no other partner beyond that.
So I guess to that question, Dean, is level 3 is pretty high, right? I mean, that's like,
Right.
you can do like,
Airport.
yeah, like avian flu. I mean, so is there any limit to what the university is willing to do, or are you going to maximize the level 3 capabilities?
Yeah, so level 2 can be done, but level 3, without level 3, we can't really go all the way in terms of controlling pests. This particular beetle, for example, highly unlikely that other type of insects can eat this beetle. So, pathogen evaluation would be necessary. So, and the unique opportunity that federal government has opened for us to build this is our chance to do it. We had conversations I've heard yesterday from the governor's office that we need to build the best facility possible. Because originally we felt that we will not be able to get this kind of money, because last year I had a number of conversations. There was a bill 1951 that moved all the way to the end that kind of ultimately ended up with 3.7 million start money. That I was sensing that Hawaii wouldn't be ready to give us 50 million for this project. But now we have a chance, and we should not shortchange ourselves. And the governor's office indicated that we should always try to do it.
But to that point, I guess too, is there any, by taking the money, do we have to give anything back? I mean, or do we lose control? I mean, can the governor restrict what is in that facility, or by taking these funds, the federal government can tell us what is going to be in that facility?
No, I don't think so. It's all about the permits that we will get whenever there is some evaluation that's needed, inspection. USDA will be actually participating in that inspection along with our own folks from our own Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity.
And I'm only asking because it's a level 3 facility right in Waiwa. So I just, when I bring up the EIS and EA concerns too, it's like, at some level, I mean, community input would be needed,
Absolutely.
right? So
Community input would be absolutely needed. And this is a conversation right now, right? And it's starting. And as board member Dean has mentioned, that discussion has been going on for a long time. And community, I believe, will hear us positively, because there is so much devastation is being caused by invasive species. And the highest level of biosecurity facility that anybody has ever built is the level we are going for. Therefore, we should have much more comfort that this facility is secure.
okay. Chair?
Yeah, Dean Farwinder and Dean, Member Okimoto, you're both on the Department of Agriculture Biosecurity Board. We call it BAB, right? The Board of Agriculture Biosecurity. When I'm just pointing out that there was an informational briefing for bison, importing bison for an equal need for the state, which is food production. And the outcry from the testifiers from the public was pretty much what Chair Watts is bringing up. Why didn't you come to us first? Why were there no neighborhood watching? Why were there no meetings advising the community for this bison farm? And it's kind of chicken and the egg to what you're saying. I understand why go to the public before you have the permits. But at that meeting, as you both heard, it was very difficult to overcome that feeling that they were ignored. In the end, the board voted to allow the permit process to go through, much to the chagrin of the community in the North Shore area, that the applicant did not have some outreach events, consider their input. And I don't know what would have happened, but serving as the chair of that meeting, it was a quandary. Do you go to the community first when your idea is still, sparkling? Or do you go to them when you have a fire? And I think for the purposes of that meeting, I think you go to them now. I think you reach out to the Wahiawa community now and you tell them, we're about ready to do this. And we have this opportunity. It's sparkling. Can we move forward? Do we have your support? Remember that meeting? It was pretty contentious.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was for food production, which we totally support in the state, right? So just informational briefing. Engage the public now. It's important.
Thank you, Chair Hurd, for suggesting that. Absolutely, we need to do that. In our proposal, we also write a section on community engagement that we would have to do as part of our plan, in terms of timetable. So you are absolutely right. We had to come here first because if you are not happy about the project, then we might look elsewhere. The community would be different. You know what I'm saying? So where we have to kind of set up the meetings with the community. So next thing we will do is to start setting up the meetings with the community.
Thank you, Dean. Board Member Cook, you had your hand up or you good?
I'm good. Dean got to the question I was asking, so thanks, Dean.
Thank you. Board members, any further discussion? If not, thank you. And I guess staff will work with your office on the next steps and then, thank you.
Appreciate that so much and appreciate again for the opportunity and what you all do for agriculture.
Oh, you know what wasn't in here though? Question. Square footage. How big is this? Was it in here?
The facility itself would be around 30,000.
Oh, 30,000.
With all the different elements that I have described in the picture there, with all the different rooms and everything. And the land, because it requires extra layer of protection with fencing and such, so about 3 acres of land would make a lot of sense. That will also improve the canine facility out of it. And the 2 large greenhouses, BPQ 2 and 3 levels.
All right. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Regarding moving on to item F5, same thing with that, Wendy, your office, if they can provide a memo to the board members on the status of these 3 projects. And then remember, regarding the last item, E6, F6, there's a timeline attached, so I will be just leaving it at that, and moving to adjourn if there's no objections. If so, having no further business before the board, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Board Member Okimoto. Is there a second?
Second, Jesse Cook.
Thank you, Board Member Cook. All right. If there's no objections or abstentions, motion is approved and meeting is adjourned at 10:26 a.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
What happened to item E5? I deferred.
E5.